Wait, before we go deeper into this powerful message, take a second to do something meaningful. Hit that like button and subscribe now. Not just for me, but for you. Why? Because if you've been feeling out of place, misunderstood, or spiritually different, this channel is your safe haven. Join a community that sees what the world ignores. Your soul is not here by accident. So pause, click, like, subscribe, and let the light within you find its home. Parentheses, praying hands, end of parentheses, stars. Have you ever wondered why the most radiant souls, the kindest, the wisest, the most spiritually aligned, are often the ones that face the greatest criticism and rejection? It seems backwards, doesn't it? But there's a deeper truth here, one that many chosen ones have lived, but few have fully understood. The reality is simple yet profound. Your light irritates their darkness. In a world filled with emotional wounds, hidden insecurities, and spiritual confusion, those who carry a pure, high-frequency energy stand out, and not everyone welcomes that. Your spirit, vibrant and aligned with purpose, naturally disrupts the unresolved chaos in others. You don't have to say a word. Your very presence confronts what they try so hard to ignore within themselves. And what happens when the darkness within someone is exposed, even unintentionally? They push back, they criticize, they mock. Not because you are flawed, but because your very existence reminds them of their spiritual stagnation, of how far they've drifted from their own truth. You're not arrogant. You're not trying to make anyone feel small. You simply are. You walk in integrity. You treat others with kindness and respect. But no matter how gentle your spirit, some people will still resent you because your light reveals their shadows. And instead of healing, they choose to attack the mirror. This is why it's not about you. It never was. Their hatred is often just pain wearing a mask. You've activated something in them, not by preaching, but simply by being. Spiritually speaking, when a person begins to awaken to their true identity, when they recognize their inner potential and live in alignment with that power, their energy rises. This vibrational elevation can feel threatening to those who are still operating in lower frequencies, trapped in fear, confusion, or emotional numbness. But don't dim your light to make others comfortable in the dark. This is your confirmation you're not the problem. You're the reminder. You're the proof that light still exists in a world struggling with spiritual blindness. So the next time someone treats you unfairly, remember this. Your spirit didn't offend them. It exposed them. There's something deeply magnetic about people who walk in their truth. You've likely felt this in yourself. The way you walk into a room and the atmosphere subtly shifts. Not because you're trying to be seen, but because your presence speaks louder than words ever could. For the chosen ones, this is not arrogance, it's not ego, it's alignment. People who carry a higher spiritual frequency naturally radiate an energy that transcends the superficial. It might come across as peace, quiet confidence, deep empathy, or simply a kind of stillness that feels unshakable. And while this presence can be incredibly comforting to those who are open to light, it can also be profoundly unsettling to those still trapped in their own darkness. Let's be honest, some people don't want peace, not really. They're at war within themselves, and your calmness exposes that internal chaos. Your clarity reveals their confusion. Your courage brings attention to their fear. And your authenticity, that's the one that cuts deepest. It reflects just how many masks they've been wearing. This is the paradox. The same light that inspires some will irritate others. Spiritual teachings often describe this phenomenon as a kind of mirror effect. You don't choose to be a mirror. It happens because your soul is transparent. When you walk in your truth, you don't hide behind roles or social masks. You become a reflection of what's real. And that can be incredibly uncomfortable for those who aren't ready to face themselves. They won't always know why they feel off around you. They may say you're too intense, too different, or hard to read. But beneath those words is a silent battle. Your light is shining into places they've buried for years. And instead of healing those broken parts, they blame the one who unintentionally exposed them. This dynamic intensifies when the chosen one demonstrates resilience. Life has likely tested you. You faced rejection, setbacks, spiritual attacks, and yet you rise, again and again, not just surviving, but evolving. That resilience, it makes people who have given up on their dreams deeply uncomfortable. They see you as a reminder of what they could have been had they not chosen fear or complacency. Your determination to keep moving forward, even when misunderstood, is often seen as a challenge to others' excuses. You show what it looks like to walk through fire and not be burned. And for some, that's too much truth to handle. Instead of being inspired, they resent it. Instead of growing, they attack. But again, it's not about you. It's about what your presence activates in them. The chosen ones are often called to be disruptors, not intentionally, but energetically. You disturb what's stagnant. You stir what's buried. You shine on what's been ignored. That's not easy for the people around you, and it's not easy for you either, but it's part of your purpose. So if you've ever felt like people distance themselves without reason, if you've ever been called too much when you were simply being yourself, know this: your presence is powerful, and not everyone is ready for it. But don't shrink. Don't water down your truth to quench someone else's denial. The world needs your presence exactly as it is, unfiltered, unwavering, and unapologetically full of light.
One of the most misunderstood experiences in life is being authentic in a world that often rewards the opposite. For the chosen ones, this truth hits especially hard. You show up as you are. You speak with honesty. You love without manipulation. You don't play roles. You live from your soul. And while this kind of transparency should be celebrated, it often becomes the very thing that makes you a target. People say they want realness until they encounter it. You see, authenticity exposes inauthenticity. Your genuine spirit, kind, unmasked, and full of empathy, unconsciously confronts those who've spent their lives building walls, crafting personas, and hiding pain. And instead of admiring your courage, they react with bitterness. Why? Because your light makes them question why they've dimmed theirs. The more you live aligned with your truth, the more clearly others see the gap between who they are and who they pretend to be. And not everyone is ready to bridge that gap. Some would rather destroy the mirror than face their reflection, so they mock, reject, or distance themselves from you. But there's even more to this story. You're not just misunderstood in this life, you may be misunderstood because of past ones. According to spiritual teachings, like those of Dolores Cannon, our souls carry imprints from past incarnations. Traumas, unresolved relationships, karmic lessons, they don't just disappear, they echo. They show up in our current lives as unexplainable emotions, instincts, and reactions. That person who resents you without reason, the one who distrusts you even though you've never wronged them, it's possible their soul remembers something their conscious mind cannot. Maybe in another lifetime, your paths crossed in conflict. Maybe you were once a teacher, a rival, a mirror for their darkness, and even now they feel it. This is what makes being chosen such a heavy assignment. You're not just living for yourself. You're living out a soul mission that may disrupt cycles, challenge generational patterns, and awaken ancient resistance in others. Being different means being misunderstood, not because you're wrong, but because you're ahead. You're walking in alignment with a divine mission, and that threatens the comfort of people who are still clinging to the familiar. Your empathy doesn't just feel others' pain, it absorbs it. Your authenticity doesn't just express truth, it exposes illusions. Your light doesn't just shine, it agitates. And that's why chosen ones often become the target of projected negativity. It's not you they hate, it's what you represent. You are living proof that there's more to this world than fitting in, more than ego, more than conformity. You show what it looks like to live with intention, connection, and awareness. In environments where mediocrity is the norm, your presence is a disruption. In cultures that prize surface-level approval, your depth is a challenge. And for souls still asleep, your awakening is a threat. But don't carry that shame. Carry the mission. You were never sent here to make others comfortable. You were sent to make a difference, even if that difference costs you approval, popularity, or peace. Your energy is sacred. Your purpose is eternal. And while the world may misunderstand you, your soul already knows you were never meant to be ordinary.
There's a truth most people shy away from, yet every chosen one eventually learns. Light and darkness are drawn to each other, but they can never coexist peacefully. You carry light, not just a metaphorical glow, but real spiritual presence, a vibration that challenges, heals, exposes, and disrupts. And that light, beautiful as it is, will attract darkness, not because you did something wrong, but because darkness always resists illumination. Think about it. When light enters a dark room, the first reaction isn't peace, it's pain. The shadows retreat. Hidden things are revealed. The atmosphere changes. That's you. You're the disruption in someone else's comfort zone. You're the alarm clock in someone's spiritual slumber. And that's why people may hate you without reason. That's why they gossip. That's why they reject you, lie about you, mock you. It's not personal, it's spiritual. Your light forces them to see, and most aren't ready. In a world full of unhealed wounds, spiritual blindness, and emotional denial, someone like you stands out, not because you're better, but because you're awake. And in a room full of sleeping souls, the awake one is always seen as a disturbance. You are a catalyst, a mirror, a divine challenge. The clash between light and darkness isn't just about good versus evil. It's about awareness versus ignorance, growth versus stagnation, truth versus illusion. You live on a frequency that demands accountability, and people who aren't ready to face themselves will fight you rather than change. But this is the divine paradox. The same light that draws attacks is the same light that heals. Every hateful word aimed at you is proof of your power. Every closed door is evidence that you no longer fit in places meant for smaller versions of yourself. Every battle you face is refining you, not ruining you. Chosen ones are not just survivors, they are transformers. You shift atmospheres, you awaken spirits, you make demons tremble, even if you're unaware of it. And that's why the battle is so intense. But here's the truth that darkness doesn't want you to remember. You were made for this. You were designed to carry this light. You were sent into this world not to blend in, but to stand out and awaken others. Every time someone understands you, remember, your mission is not to be understood, it's to be faithful. So don't give up. Don't shrink. Don't hide your power. Even if people walk away, even if the world rejects you, Keep walking in the light, because your presence isn't just a reflection of who you are. It's a revelation of what this world still needs to become.